tss.thesan. In this video, I'm going to share with you 6 tips in Karangan Bahasa Melayu that helped me to score A+ in my Bahasa Melayu. So I'm going to share everything with you. And also by the end of this video, I'm going to share with you my personal experience while I sat for my SPM 2022 exam. So make sure you're watching this video till the end. Alright, so let's check it out. Alright, so for the Karangan, we have bagian A, short essay, and bagian B, long essays. So for bagian A, the short essays, basically you just have to make sure that you touch every bahan given. For example, if there's 2 bahan given, then you have to touch on both of them. If there's 3, then you have to take some information from each of them to put it into your essays. So this is for part 1. And for part 2, I'm going to share with you 6 tips for you to do well in your part 2. So the first tip is that you have to write an example for every paragraph. Actually, I found that a lot of people, they don't care about example. Their essay is very nice and they're very good in elaborating, but they didn't put any examples in their essays. It's a big no-no. This example is actually very important when it comes to essays. Example is gonna support your points and make your essays more convincing. So you shouldn't skip that. So what I did is, on every paragraph, pendahuluan, perenggan isi, and penutup, I will put at least one example in each of the paragraph. But of course, you have to make sure that your example are appropriate. If for the kesimpulan, you don't have idea on what kind of example you can give, then that's okay, just leave it there. Because you also have to avoid from putting inappropriate example. But just make sure that for your pendahuluan and perenggan isi, you have to put example in those paragraphs. So that's the first tip. The second tip is that you have to put some peribahasa. I'm pretty sure that you know about this. What I want to highlight here is avoid from putting too much peribahasa. There was somebody who wrote 5 or 6 peribahasa in one paragraph. That was too many. My teacher also said that avoid from putting too much peribahasa in your essays. Peribahasa is just to beautify your essays. Just act as the icing on the cake. If you put it too much in your essays, it will become Karangan peribahasa, which means peribahasa will be the main character in your essays. So it shouldn't be that. So just make sure that you give some appropriate peribahasa in every paragraph, but not that much. So the third tip is that you have to prioritize your content. So honestly, last year when I first sat for my Form 5 exam, I did score well in my Karangan. Although my Karangan is very beautiful, I use a lot of beautiful phrases in my Karangan, but I didn't score well because I use a lot of beautiful phrases until I have no enough word count left for the content. So afterwards, I learned my lesson, I start to prioritize my content. So I start to improve and score higher and higher marks in my Bahasa Melayu until I score A+ in my SPM exam. So learn my lesson. Since your word count is limited, you have to first prioritize your content. Then second, try to beautify your essays. But meanwhile, you have to make sure that your bahasa is okay. Bahasa lancar. Try to avoid some grammar mistake. So the fourth tip is about the Karangan format. And for your information, last year, the format essay did come out in SPM 2022 for Bahasa Melayu. So in this year, 2023, I guess you'll have higher possibility that the format essay will come out. So make sure that you know every format for each type of essays. And also I want to highlight that they will always have some minor changes in the exam format as well as the Karangan format. So make sure you always check the format from time to time with your teacher because the format changes can happen right before the exam. This really happened last year. Avoid losing your mark just because that you are using inappropriate format. Alright, so the fifth step is that you have to know how to count for your word count. For example, last year, one peribahasa will be counted as one word. No matter how long the peribahasa is, it will always be counted as one word. But again, this is the format last year. For this year, make sure you check it back with your teacher. Just go and courteously ask your teacher what kind of phrases will be counted as one word. Alright, so the sixth step is that you have to have some general knowledge and know about some current issues. For example, COVID-19. As COVID-19 is still happening right now, so it's still considered as current issue. And also, COVID-19 can be related to a lot of topics. For example, education, online shopping, online learning, social media, health, lifestyle, so on and so forth. Because almost everything is affected by COVID-19. So from here, you can find that actually COVID-19 could help you while you're writing your Karangan, lisan, as well as speaking test. So for example, during lisan or speaking test, if you suddenly get stuck, you don't know how to continue, then you can try to think, can I relate this topic to COVID-19? If yes, if I were you, I would do so. Because last year during my SPM exam, lisan and speaking test, whenever I can relate the topic to COVID-19, I would definitely do so. Because when I relate to COVID-19, I could elaborate more and more and more. For example, MCO, SOP, vaccination, school lockdowns, healthy lifestyle, so on and so forth. But you have to make sure that you relate them in an appropriate way, and also you have to always stick to the topic given. Alright, so regarding the general knowledge, to get some general knowledge, you should utilize your textbook. Because most of the topics that come out in SPM are based on the topics in the textbook, most of them. But of course, a lot of questions can be asked in every topic. So what you can do is prepare some general knowledge for every topic. How you can do so? All of those general knowledge are already in your textbook. Actually, your textbook is kind of spoon-feeding you, so you have to utilize it. So during exam, regardless of what kind of essays come out, ciri, langkah, manfaat, so on and so forth, no matter what kind of essay come out, you can try to put some general knowledge that you prepared into your essay, because it's going to increase the maturity of your essays, and your essay will be a lot better. Alright, so now I'm going to share my personal experience when I was sitting for Bahasa Melayu paper in SPM 2022. So I found that actually a lot of people, including me, was struggling to finish our Karangan in time. I feel you, I was in your place 8 months ago. So in this case, what I did is, during my SPM exam, we entered the exam hall 30 minutes before the exam start, and after we entered the exam hall, the exam paper were distributed, and we were given instructions to start checking the exam paper to make sure it's complete. So at this moment, the first thing I'll do is I will quickly check the exam paper, and then the second thing is I will go to the bahagian B, since we have 4 essays, and out of these 4 essays, we have to answer one of the essays. So at this moment, I will quickly go to the bahagian B, roughly go through all of these 4 questions given, and then I will very quickly decide which karangan I choose. Then I will quickly read through the questions. Since there are bahan rangsangan, is something like a very short paragraph, and then below the bahan rangsangan, there will be the questions. So I just quickly read through all of them, and then at this moment, we were given instructions to close out our exam paper. Which means all of the process of reading all of the questions, choosing the question that I want to answer, and also read through the question that I want to answer. All of these 3 process, it happens in about 10 seconds only. You have to be really fast. So once we were given instructions to close out the exam paper, then of course we shouldn't open up the exam paper anymore. So at this moment, we have to wait for another 15 minutes, then only the exam starts. So within that 15 minutes, I start to plan for every paragraph for my Karangan bahagian B. And then after 15 minutes, I've completed the whole essay in mind. So when the exam starts, the only thing I have to do is write out everything that I have already planned. So in the end, for Karangan bahagian B, I wrote about 490 plus words. And also I complete my essay in time. So that is what I did. But listen, while you are given instructions to check for your paper, you have to do so. Don't skip this process just because that you want to quickly go through the questions. Please check your question paper properly. Because if your question paper are not complete, it's gonna lead to a very big problem. So make sure that you check your question paper quickly but properly. Alright, so that is the end of this video, and for your information, I will continue to produce high quality videos in self-development, and also I will upload videos on every Saturdays, and whenever I upload new videos, I will notify you on my Instagram. Alright, so stay tuned, subscribe me, I'm the Sun, have a nice day.